Hey everybody out there watching, thanks for tuning in. This is BOSEPHUS, the 1960 F100. This video is getting the back panel finally put in. That was a long road getting it to this point, but it's finally done. And this video is also about repairing some cab mount stress fractures and getting this upper roof brace put in. So I hope you like it. Let me know what you think down below. Thanks. After burning my scrotum, I've discovered that the trans tunnel cover works as a great crotch guard. The problem with these spot weld cutters is they leave like a 5/16 hole, which is way more than you need for a spot weld, and they just make really big bubbles of weld to fill in. So it just takes a long time to get these, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm feeling pretty good about where I am. I think I've got that all pretty much cleaned up and ready for a primer and a very small skim coat. Next, I'm going to focus on these two through holes from this pitting right here. This is really all there is. I'm going to try something a little different. This is a piece of copper tube that I've flattened, and I'm going to hold it up against the hole there so I can weld from the other side. Looks good from this side. Let's see what happens if we take that copper off. Boom! It works really good. Alright, I'll just have to smooth that out on this side, and I'll do the other one. 2 for 2. Let's smooth that out. So I actually came out here at night with a flashlight and looked for all the pinholes I could find, and I found a whole bunch more. There were a lot more in this pitting than I expected, but I think I got them all. If I missed any, the epoxy primer and the filler will take care of it. I'm not too worried at this point. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is try to fix these stress fractures in the back cab mount area. So I've already ground away a lot of the paint and rust, and there are a bunch of little fingers coming off of each one of these. So what I actually need to do is drill a little 16th inch drill bit hole to kind of relieve the stress before I weld this up. The other problem with this side, that side's okay. This side is actually lifted up just a little bit. You can see how the sheet metal is a little bit higher than it's supposed to be. So before I weld, I think I'm going to see if I can't massage that a little bit and get it to lay flatter. Alright, this is the worst side, which I guess makes sense since it's the driver's side. But you can see I've gone pretty crazy with the holes because there's a lot of fingers of cracks here. One goes straight across the mount here. And that's actually a spot weld that failed. So I'm gonna have to basically press this down while I weld. And I need to aim for good penetration so it welds through, but there's a subplate, so I'm not too worried about burning through. In fact, if anything, it's gonna graft itself to that subplate, which will help. All right, let's give this a shot. Okay, I have all the in conditions welded up in a few strategic spots. Now I can just stitch weld the rest. Sheet metal is really easy to weld when there's a subplate. All welded up. There's a matching one on this side. So the big question is, do I grind this down and smooth it out, or do I just leave it? Because it's stronger than it is from the factory now. If I grind it down, it's going to make it weak again. And I'm pretty sure this is hidden by the gas tank. So I'm kind of inclined to leave it, just paint over it. I'll probably grind out a little bit around the bolt holes to make them flat, but that's about it. I'll think about it a little bit more. So I almost forgot about this guy. This guy goes on the roof and it connects from the front of the cab to the back of the cab. This is actually the one from the small window cab, and the fitment's just a tiny bit different. So it gets attached in the front. I think it's screwed on the front. And then this line right here needs to line up with the lip. So it doesn't quite fit. So I need to pop it out, these two spot welds right here, and readjust it a little bit. So here's the two spot welds, and here's my trusty spot weld cutter. Now I don't think I want to use this thing because it just leaves such a big hole. I'm going to try to just take it out with a regular, like, I don't know, 3/16 drill bit or something. First I'm going to drill some pilot holes to kind of get the spot weld cut started. Hopefully this drill bit's actually sharp. Never know. So I want a bit that's big enough to get that weld out. I think that's about this right size. Let's see here. This is a 17/64. Let's see what happens. I don't think that's ready yet. Oh, look at there. Bada boom. Okay, I have what I think is approximately the center line, and I've actually done quite a bit of massaging on kind of straightening up a lot of these rails and bending things and getting them to fit a little better. The difficult part about working on these trucks is nothing was ever really straight. These guys were, you know, smoking Marlboros all day long, working on assembly line as fast as they could, going to have 3 beers at lunch, coming back and putting these things together. But I think it's all going to work out. So what I'm going to do is tack this on right here a little bit and then kind of bend it up so that it pushes this rail up against the roof. The first thing I need to do is clean all the rust off, because you're never going to see this again. I'm going to put some rust removing primer in there, and then some metal etching primer in certain locations, and then we're going to start tacking this on. I've got everything weld through primered and rust inhibitor primered on the back side where you're never going to see it again. When I was putting this thing up here, I don't know why I didn't notice this until before, but there are actually locating holes on this thing. So even though it doesn't line up with my center point, I'm going to use those. So the first thing I'm going to do is do a couple little tacks here so I can kind of push this up so that this lays as against the roof as I can. So let's try it. Okay. Now we're going to push this upwards, I think, until It has a good tension on the roof. Maybe I'll use this. Something like that. It's got good tension up here. A little more maybe. Right there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish those welds and get it all finished up. Alright, that came out pretty good. We've now got the roof brace in. I'm still not 100% sure if those are held in by screws. I think they are. It might be part of the headliner. But that job is done. Well, after quite a bit of work, I think the back panel is pretty much in where it should be. At least approximately where it should be. That was a lot of work. I think I said it before, if I had my choice to do it all over again, I would just get the big window cab and not go through all this effort. The positive is it lets you get into areas that would never be accessed otherwise, even with a blaster or anything like that, and you can do a little bit of rust preventative action. But otherwise, whew, I hope you have a lot of time on your hand. The next few videos are going to concentrate on some pretty serious repairs. Floor repairs on both sides, replacing this cab mount, repairing the air domes here, as well as the drain and the front cab corners. And then I'm going to have to flip the truck up and do a lot of underside welding. So there's still quite a bit left to do. Okay, stay tuned for the next ones. Thanks for watching.